Welcome back to Easily Distracted Games. My name is Marco, and today 15 crazy games that let you play as the anti-hero, the villain, the bad shepherd. So follow me as we embrace the dark side of gaming. So first up is Maniac, which is what you get when you combine GTA, Postal, and Vampire Survivors. This action roguelike went under the radar, but it can be surprisingly fun if you're the type of GTA player who enjoyed causing so much chaos and destruction that your wanted level had more stars than the US flag. Those who played the original GTA series will also get some nostalgia from this top-down game, whose main aim is to basically just try and cause so much mayhem as possible until you die or just get busted by the police. I also enjoyed the graphics of this game, especially when so much destruction is coming your way. You get all of the weapons you can think of or don't think of, along with the ability to drive vehicles around like it's Carmageddon. The game is also a bit like Vampire Survivors because the game allows for auto firing, which is really handy when so much is going on. Plus, after the runs you get to buy upgrades as well as unlock various characters. It can get a bit repetitive at times, but I mean it's $5, so it's well worth this type of gameplay if this is your vibe and you just enjoy causing so much mayhem and destruction. Next up, this list wouldn't be complete without Prototype. Man, what an iconic franchise. I remember playing the original when it first came out and thinking to myself, am I meant to enjoy a game this evil and psychotic? Prototype lets you tear through the streets of New York City with shape-shifting powers that would make characters from The Boys feel nervous. You play as Alex Mercer or James Heller in the sequel, and your primary hobbies in the game include absorbing people, smashing tanks, and turning your arm into a giant blade. It's an absolute blast to wreak havoc on the military and civilians alike, morphing into anyone that you consume. This game really taps into your evil side as the power trip that comes from so much insane destruction. But I won't lie, when you're mowing down innocent people or using someone's body to sneak in through a base, you do feel a bit like a monster. Sure, it's justified by your tragic story, but there's no getting around the fact that you can fling a little old granny into a building and just carry on with your day. Honestly though, Prototype 3, when is that gonna come out? Next on the list we have Plague Inc., which is when you get to wipe out humanity from the comfort of your couch. Maybe it's a little bit too soon for some, but you get to design and evolve a deadly virus or bacteria, and your goal is simple: spread it across the globe and try to kill everyone. You might be like, Marco, what is wrong with you? This is pretty messed up. But there is this strategic element that kind of kept me playing this game for many hours on end. Watching your plague infect the world, adapting to different environments, and outsmarting scientists trying to cure it is surprisingly addictive. But yeah, there is definitely a sinister vibe to getting excited when your plague reaches Greenland or when an entire country succumbs to your deadly creation. You'll feel a bit like the Grim Reaper with a clipboard, coldly calculating the best ways to cause maximum devastation. It's a game that makes you think and makes you feel a bit bad for celebrating the collapse of humanity. But hey, some people just like to watch the world burn. Next up is my favorite Nelly Furtado song, it's Maneater. If you've ever wanted to live out your Jaws fantasy, Maneater lets you do just that, but with even more style. You play as the shark seeking revenge on humans who killed your mother. You swim around chomping on tourists, sinking boats, and leveling up into an even bigger, badder predator. Creating so much aquatic chaos has never been this fun. You'll leap out of the water, tail whip jet skiers, and chomp down on anything with a heartbeat. But it's hard to shake that nagging feeling of guilt when you're sinking your teeth into a sunbathing beachgoer or dragging an entire fishing boat into the depths. But if you just want to be a bit evil, you get to be the ultimate apex predator here, and the game makes it ridiculously fun to unleash that primal urge to devour. But yeah, let's be honest, you're definitely the bad guy here, or bad fish, but either way, it's just tons of fun from start to fin. My next entry here is Party Hard. In this little indie game, you're that guy who just wants some sleep, but the neighbors are throwing a party at 3 a.m. Solution? Murder. You crash the party, eliminating each guest one by one without getting caught by the cops. It's stealthy, strategic, and surprisingly hilarious as you try and find creative ways to off these people, like getting them run over by the car or throwing them into the pool. The fun comes from the satisfaction of taking out an entire party undetected and the ridiculousness of the situation. I mean, have you ever had it where loud music wants to turn you into a serial killer? Well, in Party Hard, the answer is yes. It's definitely more of a puzzle game, but I just enjoy the graphics, the vibe, and overall just enjoy the premise of the game here. It's pretty cool. Next on the list, we have Stubbs, the zombie in Rebel Without a Pulse. You play as Stubbs, a dapper, brain-munching zombie back from the dead for revenge and snacks. Set in a retro-futuristic 1950s city, you shuffle through the streets, turning humans into zombies and leading your undead army against the living. It's a fun, quirky take on the zombie apocalypse. I mean, hey, you can throw your body parts as weapons. You get to feel a little evil here, as you don't need to feel bad when you're munching down on innocent civilians or turning people into mindless undead minions. I mean, you're a zombie. What are you meant to do here? It's dark humor at its best, and it's always good to feel like, what if you were on the other side of a zombie apocalypse? So next up on the list is Paint the Town Red. Now, many people might not know this game, and it's a little indie game that I've put way too many hours in, which probably says a lot about me that I care to admit. You dropped into various chaotic situations like bar fights or pirate ship battles, and your only mission here is to beat up everyone to a pulp, like literally no one must be left alive. The game's voxel art style means that everything is blocky, but the violence is anything but soft. You'll use anything that you can get your hands on, bottles, chairs, or maybe, I don't know, other people to smash and splatter your way throughout the crowds. So if you ever wanted to be evil, this game gives you that cathartic, chaotic mess, and the absurdity of it all just makes it hard to stop playing. See, at the end of the day, you're the villain here. You're going to be the one throwing the first punch, turning every situation into a bloodbath for no good reason. And because it's got that voxel art, the violence in this game can get pretty intense. And then when you can get these special powers, like you can turn into this flying Jesus and smite people all in slow motion, damn, it's really satisfying. It's definitely one to check out. Next on the list is Rain on Your Parade. This is a comedic adventure where you play as a mischievous little cloud hell-bent on ruining everyone's day. Across a variety of creative levels, you'll be unlocking progressively absurd abilities that'll turn this cloud into a full-blown chaos machine. Just imagine a delightful mashup of, say, Untitled Goose Game, Donut County, and Katamari, with puzzles and hilarious mayhem at every turn. You're going to be traveling the world here, inventing increasingly ridiculous ways to sow chaos. You'll crash a sunny wedding with a downpour, unleash lightning on city streets, flood supermarkets, destroy cops, sneak around military bases, and yes, rain meteors on dinosaurs. Nothing is safe from your cloud-based antics. As you advance, you'll be unlocking more outrageous powers like summoning tornadoes, dropping explosives, and calling down meteors. And what makes it even cuter is that you can dress up your cloud with various hats and hand-drawn faces, all while grooving to an upbeat, silly soundtrack that perfectly matches the game's playful tone. Sticking to the cute side, next on the list is Cult of the Lamb, where you're a cute little lamb tasked with creating and leading a cult. You're going to be gathering followers, performing rituals, and yes, occasional sacrifices to keep your dark god happy. It's a blend of town management and dungeon crawling, with your adorable cult growing larger and more devoted or fearful by the day. The game's mix of cute and creepy makes it a lot of fun. You're going to be sacrificing someone 1 minute and then building a cozy new temple the next. There's that evil sense of fun when you're manipulating your followers to do your bidding, especially when they start worshipping you like a deity. You're the villain here, no question about it. You're going to be running a full-blown cult, and while the art style may make it seem cute, you're going to still be exploiting and sacrificing people for your power. Yeah, I guess evil never looked so adorable here. Next on the list we have Carrion, where you are the monster, literally. You're playing as a writhing, tentacled creature that's just escaped from a research facility, and your goal is to hunt down and devour the humans who imprisoned you. You grow larger and more powerful with each victim, slithering through vents and unleashing all kinds of body horror on these poor souls trying to survive. Well, they put you in this mess, so they kinda deserve it. The fun here comes from just being an unstoppable force of nature here. It's like playing the Blob, but just with more teeth. The game flips the script by letting you be the one terrorizing the scientists, and it's just so satisfying just to unleash all this chaos. It's a short game, and the graphics, even though they're pixelated, can be really intense sometimes. It's often like, damn, I cannot believe I just did that. But this game definitely allows you to unlock your evil side. So my next entry is Overlord, or the Overlord series, where you step into the iron boots of an evil overlord with an army of chaotic, mischievous minions at your command. Your job, to spread corruption, conquer kingdoms, and cause as much mayhem as possible. Think of it as a dark, twisted version of Pikmin, but instead of being a cute space captain, you're an evil tyrant who will enslave and destroy everything in your path. In the first game, you'll be rising to power by crushing your heroes, overthrowing peaceful realms, and bending the world to your will. You'll unleash your ever-loyal goblin minions to do your dirty work, pillaging villages, burning down homes, and generally just spreading fear wherever you go. The second game takes things even further, letting you wage war on a Roman-style empire. With new abilities and even more destructive minions, you're not just conquering territories here, you're corrupting entire lands and enslaving populations. Plus, your minions can now ride wolves and attack on ships. The series leans into its dark humor with plenty of laughs as you torment peasants and turn the world into your personal playground of evil. The fun part is just commanding your minions to do your dirty work as you sit back and watch the chaos unfold. As the ultimate bad guy, every decision you make brings you closer to world domination, and the sense of power is ridiculously satisfying. Next on the list, if you want a different change of pace, we have Tropico 6, where you're El Presidente and the world is your corrupt playground. Sure, you can build a tropical paradise where everyone's happy, but where's the fun in that? Instead, why not rig elections, stash money in the Swiss bank accounts, and rule the world with an iron fist? The game gives you all the tools to be the ultimate dictator, and it's hilariously satisfying. You can oppress your citizens, bribe foreign powers, and crack down on the rebels, all while putting up the facade of a charming Caribbean leader. The evil comes in when you're making speeches about the people while secretly squeezing them for every penny. It's a fine line between the people's beloved leader and becoming a tyrant. And Tropico 6 makes it fun to walk that line, until you inevitably cross it. But hey, ruling with fear is just more efficient. My next entry here is Destroy All Humans, where here you're an alien invader named Crypto and your mission is pretty straightforward. Wipe out humanity and harvest their DNA. Armed with mind control, telekinesis, and a saucer that shoots lasers, you're basically the worst thing to ever happen to the 1950s. This game is so much fun as you just toss cows, probe people's brains, and blow up entire towns, all while spouting sarcastic one-liners. But let's face it, you're not just invading Earth here, you're actively destroying it. There's just so much evil fun to be had from the sheer absurdity of the destruction and the dark humor that runs through every mission. You get to feel that little sense of evil while you mind controlling to make people do your bidding and turning entire towns into smoking craters. It's not often that you get to be the alien terrorizing the humans, and that's what this game is all about. Coming up next, one of the titles that finally has an evil in its name, it's the Evil Genius franchise. If you ever wanted to be a Bond villain, Evil Genius is your game. You're a megalomaniac building your own secret lair, hiring henchmen and plotting to take over the world. It's like running a business, but instead of profits, your goal is world domination. You're going to be setting traps for pesky secret agents, conducting evil research, and holding governments hostage for ransom. The game really leans into this over-the-top villainy, and it's hilariously fun to play. But make no mistake, you're definitely evil here. From torturing captured agents to building doomsday devices, there's no shortage of sinister things you'll be doing. This game really thrives on letting you play the villain here, and it makes it all more enjoyable when you become really good at it. So if you ever wanted to practice your maniacal laugh, Evil Genius has you covered. And then last but not least, the most evil of them all, Untitled Goose Game, where here you're not an evil genius or an alien invader, you're just a goose. But somehow, being a mischievous goose is way more fun than it sounds. Your job is simple: wreak havoc in a quaint little village by honking, stealing items, and overall just being an absolute nonsense, causing mischief for all these poor humans around you. You're gonna steal keys, lock out people out of their houses, and cause chaos wherever you waddle. It's hilariously satisfying to watch these people just get flustered as they chase after you, and the game's charm makes it impossible to feel guilty. It's probably not the most evil of games, but you're intentionally ruining people's day for no good reason. And while it's all lighthearted and fun, you can't ignore that fact that you're a feathery force of chaos. It's just one of those games where, yeah, you can be a little bit evil, but it's still a ton of fun. So that wraps up today's video, but before you click away, I want to hear from you. What's been the game that you felt a little bit evil? Let me know in the comments section below. Plus, don't forget to check out my videos towards the end, as there's more lists and reviews to help you find great games. If you enjoyed this video though, please give it a like, as it really helps with the algorithm, and to consider subscribing to help find more great games like the ones listed here. But other than that, it is Marco here from Easily Distracted Games, and as always, don't stop gaming.